Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Old Cove podcast for TUJ students. I'm Shiina.
And I'm Senna. And today's guest is going to be Chisato. And can you tell us a little bit about her, Shiina?
Yeah, she's the president of TUJ TUJ Program Board, and she has hosted many events for school. And today we're going to have her to talk about her experience.
Awesome. Let's go meet her.
Hi, everyone. I'm with Chisato today, our very, very special guest. Hi, Chisato.
Hi, Shiina.
Okay, so how should we get started?
Should I just introduce myself?
Yes, please.
Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Chisato. I'm currently a second-year TUJ student and an IBS major. And right now I'm in the TUJ Program Board. I'm currently the president of it. And there I primarily take care of organizing events for students. And so most of the events that are student organized and happening in TUJ, most likely TUJ Program Board is taking care of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how is TUJ Program Board different from TUJ government, like student government?
So I guess TUJ student government primarily takes care of the improvement of student life. But TUJ Program Board is an organization that's solely for organizing events. So in that sense, we kind of have, a separate field.
Okay.
Yeah.
And well, we can dig into it deeper. But before that, we want to get to know you more. So tell us about like how you grew up and came to be the boss lady that you are today.
Okay. So I was initially born in Tokyo. But when I was a few months old, I went to the U.S. And stayed in Illinois for 11 years. Then after that, my fifth year of elementary, I went back to Japan and then completed my education here. So I went to the final year of my elementary school. And then middle school and high school, I went to an all-girls school in Japan. Then after that, I decided that I wanted an English education since I missed it a lot. That's why I came back to TUJ, where it's kind of like, it's in Japan, but still like an American university. So kind of a mix of, what I'm familiar with.
Oh, yeah. So that was like the biggest reason why you chose TUJ.
Yeah.
Because, well, to me, looking at you, it seems like you had a lot of options to choose from. And out of all of that, like TUJ.
Yes.
Great. Fantastic. Okay. But what I'm curious about, for you going from like American education system to the Japanese education system in the beginning, was that difficult for you to adjust?
From America to
Japan? Because you spent time in the U.S., right? And then you came to Japan. And were you in like Japanese, like international school in Japan?
No.
Like full-on Japanese?
Full-on Japanese.
Wasn't that difficult?
It was. Yeah, so for both the last year of elementary and also for middle school, I got bullied because I couldn't adjust to like the cultural differences. And like me having my full-on American personality, like that didn't really work out for like a really Japanese environment. Yeah. And like even for middle school, it was kind of a class with a lot of like people who has experience living abroad, but not as long as me. So it's like, even in that environment, I kind of struggled to fit in.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, you seem quiet and calm. Were you always like that?
Yeah.
But still assertive, right? Is that quality what got you bullied or get in trouble with your peers at Japanese school?
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes, how like, I guess one really easy example is like, in America, people are more, I guess, can speak up voluntarily and they're more like comfortable with doing that. Whereas for Japan, it's like if you're in a conversation, like a group conversation, you tend to take turns. So if you don't get that cue and just like tend to cut in people's conversations, expecting that other people will kind of do the same, like that sometimes doesn't work out. I think that's like one example where, the cultures didn't match. Yeah.
I see.
But I think it was a good experience after all. That's, I think, what really helped me get to kind of adjust myself to different people or like different cultures. So yeah, I can kind of like switch back and forth between putting my American personality on and then my Japanese personality on, even though, yeah, it's like you lose yourself, but still you can kind of, interact with more people.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you were able to make it work for you.
Yeah.
I think that's your power.
Yeah, I think so.
And how was it, like, coming back to the American education system in TUJ?
Well, I like it a lot. I like it a lot more. I think since the classes here, we got to speak and like participate, whereas in Japan it's more of like just sit and don't say a word. Yeah, I like it more here. Like being able to comfortably raise your hand, ask questions. Yeah, and also like participate in group discussions. I feel like it really helps getting to know other students as well. And that like aspect, that like, being able to talk with different people you wouldn't usually do. I don't think that's something there in like Japanese education, so.
Yeah, one thing I struggled with TUJ in the beginning was I realized I had to be really honest with myself and a bit vulnerable when I have to speak up in class.
Yeah.
For some reason, like, I felt like I was showing my weak side all the time when doing that. I got used to it, but after like, I got used to it, and all of a sudden people see me confident and all of that, and I was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a case for you too?
Yeah, well, I kind of feel that. Like the first, I guess, 1 or 2 semesters, even though I was like, I really liked the environment, like I was really reluctant to raise my hand. Yeah,
oh
it's
God.
like, oh, should I or should I not? So if there's like someone who wants to speak, I'd usually like not put my hand up, or like, I'd thoroughly think through whether my ideas are good enough before actually like, being able to speak up.
Yeah, because I had opinions for sure, but I
Yeah.
just couldn't speak up. Like
Yeah.
my thing, like every thought I had was like stuck over here.
I know.
I just had to get used to it.
Yeah.
I see. And how did you land in this leadership position that you have at TUJ today?
So I think, I don't know. Well, if I think back, I feel like I've been in leadership positions since middle school, high school.
Hey, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I think once I set my goal on something, I kind of start like building up, I guess. So if I want to do something, I take little steps to achieve that, and that usually, carries me to a position of power, even though that wasn't like my initial goal. Yeah, and I feel like that was the case for here as well. At first, I just wanted to organize events, and that's it. And I got the opportunity to do so after taking the Emerging Leaders program. One of like the main organizers of TUJ Talks, which is one of the biggest events here, they wanted me to become the next organizer. So they handed me the position. But to get budgeting and to get like other, logistical things covered, I needed to have some type of status. And that's when the application of program board, very fortunately, that started.
Wow.
So without that, I probably wouldn't have even applied. But luckily I applied, and I got the position of president, and now I'm here.
It's like you just attracted these things, but because you don't find it like lying on the floor at TUJ halls, right?
No.
Yeah, I think you were just attracting it. And Emerging Leaders program, right? We talked to Erika last week. And she's a part of it too. And I was like, wow, Erika and Chisato are like, oh wow, they're really birthing leaders in that program.
Yeah.
But I know that you're not an extroverted person either.
No.
So how are you able to like do so much of socializing while being an introvert? Like, tell us your secret.
Well, I don't know how I do that. The MBTI test. I used to be, I'm an INTJ, by the way. And that test, when I first took it, like before TUJ, I was a 90% introvert. But I became an 80% introvert, like when I took it in summer again. So it's like, I'm getting extroverted for sure. Yeah, little by little.
You can't stay introverted here.
Yeah, I don't think.
I mean, you can, but you pick up the extroverted qualities.
Yeah.
You do something.
Yeah, but one thing I think I have is that, well, I'm pretty good with person-to-person conversation. Like, I can't do, like, group,
Same.
hang out
I
in
get
groups
you.
and stuff and, like, be really extroverted in that. But when it comes to just, like, one person at a time, I can, like, kind of comfortably communicate with them.
How do you do that exactly? Like, I still struggle with keeping the communication going. So, like, what's your like method?
Well, it's kind of very spontaneous. I can be very social to people that I meet for the first time. And if they're like extroverted back to me, or like, they can upkeep the conversation as well. Like, I can still maintain that level of extroversion that I have. Yeah, but if it's like me with an introvert, I kind of like stop being like my extroverted self after a while. So I'm like very quiet. Yeah.
I get it. It just wears off, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's not even faking being an extrovert. It's just when you meet a person for the first time, it's something that comes naturally.
Yeah,
then over time, you're like, I'm a quiet person, actually.
Yeah, I just want to be nice and also want to like get to know the person. So that's why I put on the personality.
Yeah.
But after I get to know them, I'm like, oh, I'm comfortable now. And then I switch back to being introverted. Yeah.
Same. Yeah, I think we have a lot of similarities.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right? Do you see it, Senna?
I kind of do, yeah. I feel like you guys have really similar, like, I don't know, giggly demeanor, but like also very like calm. I think maybe Sheena's really like, I don't know, laughy, but, and maybe you are too, but I don't know, I feel like in a more like, I don't know, docile way.
Yeah.
But actually, I'm curious to know, I know you mentioned like the emerging leaders. How did you join that, and like which cohort were you a part of?
So I joined that because my academic advisor, I talked to him because I have a lot of anxiety sometimes. So just to like clear that off, I visited my academic advisor before my first semester started. And then I was talking about like how I want to go about my university life, stuff like that. And then he recommended it to me since I was worried of, getting to make friends. And he said the Emerging Leaders Program is like a really good opportunity to do so. Yeah, so that's how I initially got to apply and get in. And I was part of the third cohort, so just exactly 1 year ago, so fall 2022. Yeah. Yeah.
What's the like easiest thing to do in your position, and what do you think is challenging for you right now? Like for me, before reaching out to people, I hated the idea of doing it, but I had to for my work. So now, like, I can do it almost effortlessly. Sometimes it's dreadful, but I can do it. But there's still, when it comes to execution, I guess, of things, I still struggle with that. So what's that for you?
That's a hard question. I think...
It's like an interview.
I don't know, because task-wise, I think I tend to take things in like small steps, like easily digestible steps. So even the things I dread, I break it down into like really small steps so that it's just following one step in another, and by the time you know it, you're finished with that. So yeah, I don't know what I dread.
Is it the social part, maybe?
Sometimes when you work with other parties, not all parties get along with each other. So you need to be careful of not your own relationships with others, even though that's important, but take into account the relationships between like the two parties. If you're working with them for the same event, they might not mix well. And just having to know those things and then working around that, I think it's difficult because first you need to know information on it. Yeah.
Do you have an example of that?
Oh my god, like
I can't call out names, but
sometimes like I study next to her. Okay, while she's doing her boss lady thing, I'm like next to her and I overhear her conversation with people. I'm like, I can't do that. Like sometimes, she looks calm and all that, but she has to be assertive. And I don't think you struggle with being assertive, right?
no.
Yeah, that comes effortlessly. But like, I can see like a lot of compromises that has to be made, and sometimes she has to be really, really assertive. So tell us more about it. That's what we want to know. Like, how do you do that? It's a difficult part. Like I get really short-tempered with group assignments too. So teach me.
Yeah. Well, I think. Well, at least my strength is I can be like emotionally detached to situations and just deal with it as is. So like I can try to, I don't know, even if I'm getting heated up, I'm just like, Chisato, stop, and then process everything through before you actually like say anything, so that you don't make, the other person mad and stuff. Yeah, but there was a lot of things happening, even for TUJ Talks. I'm not gonna call out names, but like, for instance, two parties fighting, like, yeah, it was like a leader to leader kind of thing, but they had conflict. And that happened with a lot of parties, which is not really normal for events. So it's like this mess, and you're like, even for, let's say, things like having certain parts of the event checked or certain details of the event checked, you don't know which party to communicate to, because like communicating it to one party and if the other finds out, they might get mad. Yeah, so being really careful with that. I struggled, but it has to get done. So I'm like, just don't think of it. Don't take anything personally. And just deal with it. Like, deal with it as is.
I see.
Yeah.
So, this TUJ Talks and the conflicts that came with it, was it like one of the most intense things that you had to deal with this year in terms of like events that you organized this year?
Yeah.
Because it was big, right? And you had like a lot of groups involved from different departments.
Yes,
right?
Different departments. Yeah, and I think usually there's no conflicts. Usually people get along. But no.
And it was successful.
Yeah.
It was successful.
Yeah.
So congratulations for that.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, did you definitely feel like you were in charge of keeping everything in order? Like in the end, it's like there's a conflict here, and whether that gets solved or not is up to how you deal with it, or how you like, not orchestra. Orchestrate. Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, I think so. One thing is that since my strength is being able to speak English and Japanese, like I'm often in between parties, communicating in both, the two languages. So I feel like sometimes it's a matter of how I communicate that may mess up the situation or like make it worse or like, make it better. So
Totally.
I kind of felt that.
How do you get the groups to, like, different groups to work well with each other in the end?
They didn't. So I'm just like separating the two as much as possible.
But they got their shine, right?
Yeah, they got their shine.
It
all matters. Like no one found out about the situation. So I think that's a success in terms of not ruining anyone's reputation and also like, putting on a good show.
Do you know how to determine whether TUJ events are successful or not? Like when the event happens in the parliament and like the cafeteria is empty. This time the cafeteria was empty. Nobody was
really?
there. Yeah.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Everyone was in the parliament, so really congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much.
With all that said about your activities and achievements in TUJ, what's a TUJ hack that you can give to the TUJ students, like, especially your juniors?
I guess don't be afraid to like ask questions and reach out to people for sure. A lot of the TUJ staff here are really like, helpful, and they're happy to help you. So whether it's like the career development office just telling, let's say Erica, how you don't know what to do with your career, because that's how I approached her at first, but she helped me with like self-analysis and stuff. So things like that, just like simply approaching people if you need help, I think is very beneficial. Yeah.
Question of the day. So you talked about your career plans. What's your post-graduation aspiration?
I'm not sure.
Of course, I'm not sure either.
It's like I want to do event management or like event organizing as well. But right now I'm interning at this place called Ralph Creative, where I do like social media marketing and also analysis of it, and I enjoy it a lot. So that's also the second kind of career path I'm thinking of, is like advertising / marketing.
By analysis, like, what do you mean? Like, what happens? What do you see?
It's like looking into certain content, seeing which content does good, which does not. And kind of like looking more broader into like the industry that your client is in, and kind of seeing whether there's certain content that does well in that niche community, and certain content that performs bad. So you kind of get to see like, what content you want to have in your client's account, what you don't want to have. And yeah.
Sounds brainy.
Yep.
Love that. And the fun part. I'm gonna give you a fast round of questions with this or that, okay? Study alone or study with someone?
Depends on the person.
I'm looking at her because we study together often.
Yeah. If it's with you, yeah, together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cafeteria or parliament?
I'd say cafeteria.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Okay, library or study rooms?
Library.
The online class or in person?
In person.
Me too.
Yep.
Well, when it comes to Dean's de-stress day,
Yeah.
burritos or Baskin Robbins?
I'd have to say Baskin Robbins.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you get?
I don't know. I always get like different flavors, but I think my favorite is like caramel ribbon.
Caramel. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Okay. What's your favorite, Senna?
I don't know. I think I'm actually into neither. I prefer Subway.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a Subway girl.
Oh, what do you get from Subway?
The tuna, always.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's classic.
Honestly, TikTok or Instagram?
Instagram.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't use TikTok at all?
No, Instagram primarily because I am in charge of the program board account.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's the account handle?
It's
name?
at TUJPB. So yeah,
Follow,
I run that
please.
account, so that's why
Yay.
I'm on Instagram a lot.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And early to class or late to class?
Early.
Wow.
Yeah, most of the time. Wow. I've only been late once.
Once?
Yeah.
Just once?
Yeah. So far.
I can believe that. I feel like you're always early.
Wow. Yeah.
How about you, Shiina?
You can ask my professor. Oh, sweet. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
being
me.
here. Yeah,
Yeah.
we absolutely loved it. And any last words for people listening, watching?
I guess this is kind of repeating, but follow the program board account. But please look out for other program board events that we hold this semester and also next semester, since we have a lot in line. So hopefully we're hoping that the students enjoy all of them. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Chisato.
Thank you. Thanks, Shiina.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you so much, everyone, for listening to this episode all the way to the end.
Yes, did you enjoy our conversation with Chisato? She was great, right?
Yeah, she was super fun to get to know.
Love her.
And yeah, if you guys are looking forward to the next episode, make sure to stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.